Today I want to talk about a stone cold Rolex killer watch that has just been released at Watches and Wonders 2024 that no one else seems to have really picked up on. After the intro, we'll get into it. Hi, I'm Pete McConville and welcome to my channel. Here I like to overthink, overanalyze, and just geek out on watches, watch collecting, watch industry stuff, all that good gear. Okay, first off, an apology. Yes, there's a bit of clickbait in the title and really some catastrophizing in my intro. The watch I'm going to talk about today is probably not a Rolex killer. Rolex will be fine, but I do think that this watch will be causing some concern within the Rolex executive team, because for the first time, this is a watch that could conceivably threaten their sort of unbridled growth towards owning half the Swiss watch industry. And the watch I'm talking about is the Hermes Cut. We get people talking about Rolex killers all the time, and invariably it's some new fancy dive watch or some new, chronograph to take on the Daytona or some new travel watch to take on the GMT Master. But really, you can't hurt either those watches or Rolex by attacking those watches. Those watches are icons. People love them. There's a huge, vast mound of people who desperately want those watches. The second thing is, they're not the majority of what Rolex makes. Even if you were to chop 5 or 10% off the sale of the professional line, you haven't really done Rolex's bottom line that much damage. If you want to kill Rolex, or if you want to give their executive team a little bit of a conniption, you aim at the heartland. You aim at the parts of Rolex where they make most of their money. And that is the parts of Rolex that we in the watch community barely pay attention to. Let's call it the lady Datejust. Datejusts that are 28, 31, 34, maybe 36 millimeters. OPs fit in there as well, not just Datejusts. But it's those smaller, more feminine watches, often two-tone, often gem set, that if you look at the Rolex website, make up about half their SKUs. And listening to some Rolex ADs, like Bob's Watches did an article on this a little while ago. And that is the exact market that the new Hermes Cut is aimed at. The Hermes Cut, based on a wildly successful and very popular watch that Hermes issued a little while ago for men, the H08, takes that platform, feminizes it, shrinks it a little bit, makes it a bit rounder, a little bit softer, and produces something which is clearly designed to take on that kind of Datejust style. I'd also point out that at the moment it's only available in 36 millimeters, so it's not competing with the smaller Datejusts yet. It's only got a silver dial, so it's not competing with all of those other colors yet, but it is available in just steel, two-tone, and gem set. So it's already kind of signaling its intent of where it intends to, of what it plans to be. And the Hermes designers in a number of interviews have said, this is just the initial offering. There will be other sizes. There will be other bracelet configurations. There will be other dial configurations coming down the path. So you can imagine this watch and variations of it will over time line up pretty well with the Rolex Lady Datejust space. But why would this watch be any different to any other watch? There are other watches aimed at women around that Datejust kind of style. Why is this one such a risk? Well, really it comes down to two words: Birkin bag. The huge advantage that Rolex has over almost everyone else is the slippery pole. That is, that people will buy Lady Datejusts and those sorts of things, not just because that they want the watch, but also because those watches help develop buying histories. Those watches help develop a whole bunch of other relationships that might end up in you getting something else that you want. There's something Cartier can't even match. Cartier, for all of its sort of impact with women, doesn't have the greasy pole that women want to climb. People aren't going to come in and buy tank masks and so forth so that they can get something else. Cartier is a huge brand, enormously powerful, but it is ultimately just one brand within the Richemont corporate structure. It is bound by the Richemont corporate structure, and it's bound by what Richemont wants, how it wants Cartier to play with the other brands in its envelope. Hermes has no such concern. Like Rolex, it is, in fact, possibly it's even freer than Rolex. It is a family-owned enterprise. They can do whatever the hell they want to do with it. It's not even bound by the kinds of charity and foundational things that Rolex has to do. Hermes, if they want to, they can do anything they want. And not only is Hermes sort of as free as Rolex to do whatever the hell they want, they're as big, if not bigger. According to Morgan Stanley, last year Rolex turned over, 10 billion Swiss francs? But according to my quick Google, Hermes last year turned over 14 billion euro. So, as I said, this Hermes has nothing to fear from Rolex's marketing ability, Rolex's market clout. Hermes can match them in anything Rolex wants to do there. And so now, for the first time in certainly my memory, perhaps living memory, Rolex is confronted with a competitor that is going head to head with one of its products that has all the freedom that Rolex has all the money that Rolex has all the iconic brand power that Rolex does, and perhaps actually outshines it in this very specific market for females. And unlike all the previous Hermes watches, and there have been Hermes watches in the past, the cut has a corporate identity which is really closely tied to Hermes. It's a corporate identity linked to the H08, which is a men's watch. Exists in an environment where Hermes is investing in movement makers, investing in case makers. They're not just buying this in and slapping something on it. This has weight behind it. This has power behind it. And that's why I think the Hermes cut, probably for the first time ever, actually does make someone from Rolex sit up and pay attention and think we might have a problem here. Okay, so that's it. That's my thought. I've been Pete McConville. This is what I do. If you like what I do, subscribe, do all that sort of stuff. And we will see each other later.